Just get it out. Just get it out.
All right, guys. So, welcome to, I guess, what would you'd call a podcast. Joining me today is Hakurai, my lovely co-host. Say hello, Hakurai.
Hello, I am the Hyper Mega Puru Cannon 2 of the group.
And I am the Hyper Mega Puru Cannon 1.
Original.
This is what we have ideas for this podcast is we'll be doing each episode we can do a Gundam topic. For instance, this episode will be about Gundam Battle Operation Next. We may do some old Gundam games as topics, or maybe some of the new games like Extreme versus Force. But for now, we'll be doing Gundam Battle Operation Next. Right now, so yeah, let's jump into that. We have a very, very interesting glitch we found yesterday. Akira, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we were trying out the new 250 costumes that got introduced not too long ago. Basically, and just as a rundown for those who don't know, the 250 costume is strictly for any mobile suit whose base cost is 250 and under, but you can still use a OS higher than that, so you can go up to 300 or 350. We were just trying to, we were going to do a normal match first, but then we switched over. And then for some reason, my Baku that I used in normal match with my other account got transferred into the game for 250 cost despite only being a 300 cost suit. Still lost, but it was very interesting to have a Baku run around with a bunch of Zakus. So,
Yeah.
Trinity, how about you? Sorry, Puru Cannon. You could explain what? Well.
Yes. Give me the lead. All right, thank you, Puru Cannon too.
Oh gosh.
All right, so we actually played around. We figured out how this glitch works. Sadly, we will not be telling you because it will create a cluster if people found out how to pull out a Wing Gundam in a 250 costume, which I accidentally did. But I was like, you know what? I feel really bad for this team. I let them kill me a couple times. I went AFK half the match. But yes, we do know how to execute it, but we'll just address it. But we don't want it to become a really bad habit. Like, we all agreed we'll never do it again. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what the glitch is. It should be fixed. Harker, you were saying, like, this is very simple stuff. They shouldn't be... it shouldn't be a thing that we should be able to do, right?
Yeah, like with the way that it's executed, with the type of programming that is, it's a very simple thing that you can just find out by doing something. It's not executing any kind of like major system error in the game. It's a simple function that they just... How do I explain it? The way that it's coded for the game modes, it should have been a simple fix. But they didn't do it because it doesn't have the type of limiter that... I can't even explain it.
In other words, it got hit by a Puru cannon.
Pretty much.
That's their logic for anything that doesn't make sense. But yeah, so yeah, that's our pretty much a little glitch. Now we have a new event. I'm pretty excited for this. It is the Hyakushiki and the Cubile Mark 1. It'll be on Wednesday for us this week when the video goes up. It is on the 26th for Japan, which is a day... How do I say this? It's on Thursday for them, but a Wednesday for us. So that's when it'll be released, Wednesday for us. Yeah, I'm excited for it. What about you, Hawkeye?
I'm very excited. This actually comes into play with a couple of community members that I was talking to earlier in the week about how funnels is supposed to work. And getting a suit that has funnels this early on is pretty much going to see if our guesses are correct, or they're going to go the lazy route and just have it kind of act the same as other suits that have the exact same animation.
I'm like I said, I'm really excited for the Yakushiki. But before I go into that, yeah, that Kubile, a lot of people are saying they're thinking it's going to be OP as hell, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a simple. It won't be too weak. It won't be too strong. But then again, we could be wrong, and it could be like death everywhere. But yeah.
Yeah. Definitely one of my predictions is both the Hakushiki and the Cubile might be around the same cost as the Zeta, or about 100 costs less than the Zeta. Um, and the types of them are definitely interesting to speculate. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts, Strandy?
Haku Shiki. I hope it's a 600 cost. I mean, that'd be amazing, you know. And a general type. I hope the Yaku Shiki is a general type and it's 600 cost because if it has that Mega Launcher as a special one attack, so it shoots off like a Wing Gundam special one, that would be amazing as a general type. Like, that'll probably be one of the main general type suits I would use. Now, the Cubile, I think it'd probably be a 600 just because it would incorporate the funnels. But now its type, I don't know. I think it could be a general, but it might be a little OP for being a general. Um, Now, I could see it being support. It just depends with the way the abilities work. So yeah, that's my opinions on them. We have
Yeah, the funnels are definitely something to think about because depending on how they could work, the Cubile could be considered as a support type. Um, if the funnels act as I'm trying to think what game it was. It was either SDGO or it was another game that I had played where you sent out a funnel and it just attacked an enemy and did very little damage. But essentially, it could act as a support for units that are in battle. So you could be far away, you could aim it at someone who is a party member that is fighting someone, you could send out a funnel out there to support them. Um, Two other ways that me and a couple other people discussed was it could act as the charge up missile, to where you hold lock on, and the more lock ons you get, the more funnels get sent out to attack the enemy. Um, Another one idea I came up with, and is highly likely that it won't be implemented into the game, is like a defensive kind of funnel, not shield funnels per se, but more like funnels that like will indiscriminately attack enemies that get close to a specific area. So it'll like keep away melee types, and it will force people to fight from a distance, which already happens most of the time
that
anyway.
would be OP. Oh, you know, it'd be awesome if like they
Very
were like
much.
full boost funnels. Like, oh, you start the match, go send them to the enemy right over the on the other side. That would be ridiculous.
Oh god.
I think we got a good conversation with the Akushik and Cubile event. We decided to discuss. I would probably say one suit that would need to get nerfed a tad bit or redesigned in a way, and Zeta being sort of a not very good built suit as I would say. But let's jump into the Ailstrike first. So a lot of my friends and I, we agree that Ailstrike has some problems. Like it's broke in a sense. It can avoid so much. Okay, let me put this in a scenario. It's flip attacks. My biggest issue is, let's say I'm using a Buster. The Buster Gundam. I shoot a main attack. It staggers the Ailstrike, but that flip that the Ailstrike has, it gives him quick access to do the flip, and when I shoot my special one, you know, the mega beam that goes at the Ailstrike after a follow up, because they initiate the flip, it gives them invulnerability to successfully escape the mega beam being hit at them. Like in reality, they would have been hit if they did not have the invulnerability, and I think they need to either delay the invulnerability. So like if they did try to execute the flip, their legs would literally get hit and they would continue to get hit in the attack. The second issue that I have on it is when you're shooting. Okay, so let's say an Ailstrike is blocking, and when someone's blocking, I usually shoot Vulcans at them to prevent them from moving. And so I'll shoot the Vulcans. I'll go in for the grab, but before my grab gets registered, what will an Ailstrike do? They will flip out of it, continue to block, go in for a melee or a grab. They'll just block out of it, dodge out of it again, and it's just those are my two main issues on it. So it's pretty aggravating. I may have some clip of here of like just showing you how it's tough fighting it. Hawkray, you got any opinions on the Ailstrike?
Yeah, definitely after the Zeta, after the big nerf they did to some of the larger mobile suits, um, Wing, Zeta, and the RX-78. Um, they didn't get a huge debuff, but definitely Zeta got hit with that pretty hard. But we'll get into that after the Ailstrike. Ailstrike started getting. I personally have started seeing a lot more Ailstrike players. And I remember one match we were having where there was a Ailstrike that went to engage two of us. And the thing that he ended up doing was he went straight up into the air and guarded against all of our attacks and waited for the time to go out. And taking a look at some of the stats that the Ailstrike has, the amount of boost that it initially has is absolutely ridiculous for how much he was doing. It has less boost than some of the other mobile suits that I've seen, but I believe maybe depending on what modules he was using, he could just stand there in the air for such a long time and block all of our attacks because we're hitting him with machine guns, all sorts of things to try and get him down. But it's aggravating trying to kill an Ailstrike nowadays, especially with that flip. Um, Now, that's not to say that it shouldn't have the flip. It just needs to be reworked. But I'm not entirely sure um, exactly what you were mentioning before. The flip out of the Mega Beam Cannon. Is that while it's getting hit, or is that before it gets hit?
I shoot the. Okay, so let me I guess put this. I shoot my follow up on the Buster Gundam, and then he gets staggered. But because doing a flip rather than dodging out is doing the flip is 10 times quicker than trying to dodge out of the follow up. But by him activating that while I get ready to fire off the special one, he gains that invulnerability. So I'm literally seeing his waist and below get hit by my shot before he takes off and is actually in the air from doing the flip. And that's what I'm kind of like on that invulnerability. I think if that wasn't there, he would have gotten hit by my follow up and then he would have wasted his trying to flip out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, because I remember playing a Baku one time, and any sort of attack to try and like hit me after I get stunned, I cannot use the dodge move at all. So I think probably Ailstrike is the only
M1.
one that can dodge while getting hit.
That
Other
match
than
we
the
did
M1.
tonight, I saw an M1 do it. He did the same thing on the special one. I staggered him. I might have been a little bit slow, but because of the flip accessible, he actually flipped out of my Wing Gundam special one attack. It was like that invulnerability. Here's another thing I just remembered. Usually when a suit lands, it gives you a hitbox that you can target them, and like you can always usually get a hit when they land if they land downward straight. And if they execute the flip, my shot will go right through them, and it won't affect them because they just activated the flip, giving them invulnerability. What it should have done was hit them, count it as the damage, and then while they're doing the flip. But that invulnerability again is probably one of the big issues I have towards it. Just I think they should just push it back a tad bit on when the invulnerability kicks in. But yeah, that's my biggest complaint is that whole invulnerability.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm sure other people have experienced the exact same thing. So
I guess we're done with the L Strike rant now. Let's talk about Zeta. I guess I'll give my opinions first on it. Now, Zeta Gundam, I want to say the only really good thing it had going for it was its Mega Launcher, and that thing when it first came out had insane tracking, like insane to the point where it got nerfed. And after that, it kind of showed the Zeta being what it really was. It was kind of a crap suit to begin with. The only thing it had was that Mega Launcher, and after the nerf, they showed it, and I was very disappointed. Comparing this thing to the RX and the Wing, its stats wise are not that great. Its beam rifle is very weak. It may have good reload time, but it just I'd rather have that stronger beam rifle attack. And so now they nerfed the Mega Launcher. The Mega Launcher is kind of tricky on hitting people with it. So yeah, Zeta in my eyes is kind of not that great. I still use it. I like it. It's just not the greatest raid type suit. And I think it's only a 600 cost because it has the biometric sensor. It's almost like it's a 500 cost Gundam. Just because of the biometric sensor, it makes it a 600 cost suit. And I don't know how I really feel about that. It's just I wish the Zeta was a little bit better and stats rather than like a Mega Launcher tracking beam.
Yeah, yeah.
Your opinions?
Well, I'm not too much of a Zeta player. I did end up getting the suit, but actually trying to use. It was at the time where Zeta was like the best suit that I could get because I started playing the game a little bit later than other people did. So me, like a whole bunch of other newer players, just they just kept trying to use Zeta because it was the best suit they could even get. So me being stuck still using about a 300 cost suit, fought against them, and they were definitely annoying back then. And I trying to look up to see its attack range with the uh, what was it called, Mega Launcher, because I don't know if it got nerfed as well. Because I
It was.
I remember playing against one after the nerf, and it stopped right in front of me, and it's apparently a 500 range move, I believe. Yeah. Um,
I. They said
but
they nerfed it.
I don't know too much about the Zeta, unfortunately. Other than they're definitely manageable now. A good Zeta player can still be good. It's just now you have to kind of.
It's like playing a five.
It seems kind of dumb.
It's like
'cause,
playing a 500 cost Gundam just with the 600 cost label under it. I had something I was gonna say about the Zeta, but I just forgot it.
um,
I could think about that. I guess for now we can. If that comes back to mind, I'll think about it. But for now, oh, I remember now. The Wave Rider mode, which is complete BS compared to Wing. That thing is so stiff on turning. It's like when I try to escape with a Wing, I can easily glide out of there. Like the turning is so smooth. But the Wave Rider mode, like again for a 600 cost, it's like crap compared to Wing. That it is so stiff on like turning, and a lot of players that use it realize that this thing has stiff turning, and that is a big turnoff when using Zeta. Like sometimes you got to pull like a quick escape, get out of there, and it's like you can't turn enough that the beam tracks right into you. So that's what I remembered. Yep, that Wave Rider BS.
yeah. I remember when we were trying to focus on caps and we didn't have a raid type at the time. I was designated the Zeta point capture man, and as someone who wasn't really used to Zeta, I did try it in training mode, but training mode doesn't really teach you what to do during combat. Because as I was trying to go towards the enemy base, I started getting attacked. And so I went into Wave Rider mode to get away from there, but the direction that my camera was facing was not the direction I went compared to where my mobile suit was. And I ended up going backwards and had to make this really long, ridiculous turn that ended up getting me killed because I was still in the enemy like firing area. Instead, I just wanted to go forward, get past them, cap points for my team, and go from there. So yeah, the turning on that thing is absolutely horrendous.
Yep, it deserves a Puru Cannon smash. Destroy the Wave Rider. um, so with this new event, we're about out of time, but we'll start discussing something. I assume Hakurai. I'm looking forward for a new map. I think it's about time we get a new map. I don't know what around the Cubelay and Hyakushiki like land type maps there are. Like I don't remember Zeta too well to remember if there is kind of land map. But I do want something new at least. You.
Yeah. This actually brought up something again I was talking about with some other people before. Was more of like a closed indoor map that had a focus more on ground combat and very limited flying capabilities. If at the end of Zeta, the battle between Cubelay and Hyakushiki, they ended up going inside of some type of base or facility. I'm not too familiar because it was definitely a while ago, but they did fight inside. And for anybody who's familiar with the Dynasty Warriors series, there are areas where you have primarily indoor fights, and those areas are used during the Zeta events during the game. So having a new map that has more of a focus on ground travel instead of air travel, I would say can definitely change up how people play that map and could give other suits more of a viable edge uh, in that map, so to
I don't
speak.
know how I feel about like changing the way a map would work. Like if it's zero G kind of act and play. I think if they did like some kind of space map, it'd be kind of like on a moon surface, and it would look like you're out in space. But I would be completely fine if like there was the gravity was still the same. They didn't change any of the mechanics. It just has that cosmetic effect. I would be kind of fine with that because I don't know how I feel about having like let's say if they added an underwater map and your Zgok had advantages. I mean, it would be logical, but I don't know how I would like having some suits being like. It's like if they add one map, you know how the map rotation is. If they add an underwater map, and underwater suits would dominate to the point where you might as well just use your underwater suit. I don't know. I don't like having that advantage for like stuff. I'd rather just keep it all kind of balanced.
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely see that. I personally would probably think that if it did do that, you would then have a use to actually use
Yeah.
other suits like the Zgok. But I do see the concern because there are people who only like particular kind of suits, and that's not fair to them. One example I can think of is there is a underwater map in SDGO. I don't believe it had any particular effect other than how going vertically up would work. I don't know if it did anything with boost because that was an absolute long time ago when I played that. But essentially, as a visual thing, it would look like that underwater or in the base. But there are other maps that I have played where it's definitely a vertical challenge because you have more limit to what you can do. Like there's like beams across, and if you go too high, you'll hit those beams and whatnot. It's so I don't mean like entirely enclosed, but like to the point where you're not like having a. I'm trying to think of a mobile suit off the top of my head. A Leo, why not? A Leo fly in from like 1,000 meters in the air and drop in on sea. So, like you can tell the enemy is coming towards you, and then you can. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I do that all the time on Heliopolis. Like I'll fly in, I'll fly as high as I can go, and I come in with a machine gun, just blast in the area.
Use your Puru Cannon.
But if only I had a Puru Cannon. All I have is a stupid bazooka that can't hit shit.
I won't lie. On this whole Mega
So-
Puru Cannon, I imagine in my eyes, I want to see someone make a art of like a not a silly picture like you saw in the beginning of the video, but like a serious looking Peru with like her left hand like slightly raised up with like a clenched fist and like holding the double Zeta's Mega Cannon in the right. I just want to see that. It'll be like if I could have that as my profile picture, it would be amazing.
Yeah. One thing I do have to say about map rotation, however, is it was very much a surprise for the Cost 250 to have a map rotation, which is nice. Every day you have a new kind of map. However, they're not doing that for the normal map, and now that's gotten rid of two potential maps that we could play, and instead we have the current one, which is the Absolus Giant Open Canyon one. Not Grand Canyon,
Or as
but
I like to call
the
it,
open one.
the
People
desert.
who are playing it know what it is.
And I won't lie, a
Pretty
lot
much.
of my friends, I don't know about you, Hawkeye, but we hate that desert map. We hate it with a passion, and we're pretty angry that we cannot get a new map because when that Easy 8 event, we won't lie, we played like 10 matches and we were like tired of that map. And just to come back to it, we were not excited. We were like, really? We get exhausted on that map. It's like it's just there.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah.
It's definitely a map that helps with sniper units, but unfortunately, if you're like me, who doesn't have a better sniper unit than your Jin Recon sniper, it's gonna suck. Launcher strikes and busters definitely have a lot easier time for that map, and there's a lot of room for raid types to be able to move around in. So that kind of puts the non-sniper support types and the general types at, I would say, at somewhat of a disadvantage, because since there's such high elevation, it's a lot harder to like defend yourself against a group of enemies. And surely, it's I don't know. It's hard for me to explain it, just like off the top of my head. But I have seen people do it. Earlier, the match we just had, I tried attacking these guys, and they were able to get out of the way. But I have a bad sniper unit, so I can't actually do very much. So, but yeah, I would definitely say general purpose types have a slight disadvantage on that map. But that stuff can be easily fixed with modules and how you set up your
In
master
my
sheet.
eyes, that map is just a cluster. I don't know what to do. Do I go to C? Do I go to E? Do I go to D? It's just, in my eyes, it's just like a big circular map, and it's all a cluster. But yeah. I guess we can jump on to our last topic, the third force. And along with the Yakushiki and Kubile, I kind of hope, I doubt it, but I kind of hope they might add the Psycho Mark II. I think that would be pretty freaking amazing. Knowing how they did the Apsalis and Psycho Gundam, they came back and re-updated those. I could see the Psycho Gundam not having the, what do they call them? The funnel, are they just called funnel bits? Where they fly around the Psycho Mark II and they can target Psycho shoots off a beam and it targets a specific area. I don't know what they're called, but
Maybe. I'm not too familiar with that one, unfortunately.
I know in
So,
Gundam versus
Just
Zeta
Psycho.
Gundam, it had it. But what I could see them doing is just adding the Psycho Gundam Mark II without the bits, then coming back, adding all three mobile armors, and then including the updated bit system to it. Psycho Gundam right now, it originally could not transform, but now it can. Also, Apsless has an update where it can you can actually smash into you now, unlike it originally could. And so yeah, kind of vice versa with what I think they might do with the Mark II if they add it. But I do hope they kind of add that suit as a new variety. So yeah,
true, true. Um, yeah. The one concern I have about them is that they don't spawn enough. This game definitely has a drop system problem, and you have experienced that
oh
way
yes,
more than anyone else has.
oh, do
But
we want to get into this?
sorry. No, no, let's not. That'll be a discussion for
Alright.
another time. But the big issue is they don't spawn enough. Either that, or there is a condition that we don't know of that we need to meet to get them to spawn, because it seems almost random. The thing that I was happy that they did do for this event, which sadly is an event, it's not a permanent thing anymore, is if you are the team that kills it, you are not guaranteed, but you have a very high chance of a rare 3 or higher drop upon killing it. So it kind of becomes this thing to where it's like, okay, do I fight it to get the attack boost to help my team turn this around, or do we say, screw it, let's go for the drops because so I can upgrade my suit later on that I need to upgrade. So, it it needs to do it more. I want this to be a thing, and it sucks because you've experienced that way more than anybody else has, to the point where I'll just let you explain.
On the drop
So,
system
go
with
ahead.
what
On the drops of what you've had to do throughout this entire Death Scythe event to when this event went live.
well, okay, let's see, I'm trying to think how to say this. I guess what you're saying is you want me to explain. I'll just explain. I guess I started on my main account because I was like, okay, why not try to get Death Scythe from my main account? Looks like it's not going to happen. I'm like one disc away, but they recently added in, I guess, a small event where if you kill a Psycho Gundam, you get a rare 3 or rare 3 part or above. And I was lucky enough to have a lot of battles of that, but since my new account is so low rank, I've been getting stuck with rare 3 chips to rare 5 chips. And I guess since we're talking about this right now, I'll go ahead and mention, I think for something like that event, that one, the Psycho Gundam already is like a pain to pop in, and two, it's like I keep getting chips. I think they should make it to rare 4s and above, because rare 3s, I don't know, it's like we already get a lot of rare 3s already, and rare 4s almost seem like they're rarer than rare 5s, believe it or not. And so yeah, I wish. Oh, and not to mention, this event's not a permanent thing, which is even more BS because they're giving us something that we could get, but has a very low chance for this Psycho to drop down. So it's like, really, Bandai, really. So yeah, I think when it does drop down, it should be a rare 4. Like, it should be since it's so rare, it should be worth killing. And yeah.
Yeah, and it's also not guaranteed if you can even kill the thing. Because you could be the sole person who does all the damage on it, and everyone else is doing something, and then an enemy wing can come in with its Mega Buster and finish it off. So, killing it, I think, I don't know. Maybe the bonus should go to the team that actually does the most damage, but I don't know. Probably have to think about that a little bit better. See if there's a form of balance that could be done for it. In fact, hell, just have the rarity drop for both teams.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
because
weren't they originally advertising as like this game to like, oh, join forces to defeat the third force? Like, hey, why not be like, just give it to both teams?
Yeah, like it's a third force. It's indiscriminately attacking both teams, and so both teams should team up on it, and whoever gets the final kill, that team gets the bonus on it, because you're both trying to achieve an objective for that. If they add in the rarity drop for both teams, no matter who kills it, that'll also help with the grinding process that the game seems to have. But the more in particular thing I was talking about was the fact that you've spent like almost 200 energy for this event to get more to get your level 5
I guess we're going into that, are we?
And not long ago they put in this event after you've already got your level 5 wing, and so it was kind of a slap in the face. So why didn't they have this event in the beginning for the Death Scythe event to help get those armor drops? Because out of the entire event that I've played, I only have enough to upgrade my Death Scythe once, and the event is completely over.
Yeah, and so, I honestly want to say, though, I don't think, like, on my main account, I got 0 materials. I've played, for 5 days now on that my new account, and, yeah, I killed the Psycho Gundam at least, around 10 times, and nope, didn't get anything. I think they should make the Psycho Gundam for when there's an event out, you kill it, you have an insanely high chance to get a event material. That needs to be something, because that event material is the hardest thing to get in the game, and it's annoying because it's called a rare 4, yet harder to get than a rare 5 part. As Hawkeye said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. So I played around 200 matches because, I'm gonna get my level 5 wing. I know some of my other friends are gonna get it, and here's the BS part about this game. 200 matches I spent trying to get this level 5 wing. Gundam Fan 520 pops up, 20 matches got his level 5 wing. I'm like, that's like a slap to the face, and it's like, I kind of hate the game for that. It's like, you just gave him all his material he needed in less than 20 games. He's still above the 99 marker, and it's like, I just really hate that it's almost one-sided on give him all the material and then give him barely any, and he has to, grinded my butt off trying to get that thing. So yes, it kind of does sting when that happened. It's
yeah. And something definitely needs to happen, because the rarity drop event is supposed to end on the 25th their time. So on the 24th, probably when this video, I don't know when this video is going to go up, but on November 24th, for U.S. time, I believe in the around the 11 o'clock mark, for, let's say, your standard,
Central.
so Central, so 12 o'clock? 12 or 10, which one of those two? I don't know, you guys can figure it out. But it's supposed to end right before this new event is coming out, and since Hyakushiki definitely
whoa, our Mega Puru Cannon 2 is having some issues.
Oh.
Are you okay there, Puru 2? Puru 2, speak to me!
Yeah? Mic's not working now?
Alright, your mic's cutting up. I think we're out of time anyway, so... Alright, guys, so I guess we're gonna call this a Mega Puru podcast. Kind of silly name, but we love it. We love it. In the future, we plan maybe for episode 2, we get some of our guest friends to guest star on it. Hakurai, my friend, is co-hosting with me on this kind of stuff. So yeah, hope you guys are liking the podcast. If it goes really well, we'll do a lot more. And so yeah, I hope you guys liked, and we will see you later.
Bye.